found on Behance. And to give credit to the authors, they are Anastasia M. and Sergey N. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Basically, what we had last week, was this sort of responsive block design, and I'm just going to go over it again with you. Basically, we have red, which is in this design, this gray area here, which holds all of the elements. And the reason I put, instead of directly on the page, I put it in a red is so that it would be just copy pastable. You can right click on here, copy with workflows, and move it over to any app that you may want. And then we have this holder, which is this element, which is independent of anything else in our builder, that just sits on red. And this is this right here, and that's what we'll be building up first. Then we have two other holder groups, and their colors are yellow, not this yellow. This is not supposed to be yellow. Let's make this purple. This yellow right here, which sits inside of red directly, and this yellow is the equivalent of everything that you'll see here. And then we have another, a green holder, and the green holder holds these two here. So if you haven't seen that video, you can go back and take a look at it. And the last thing we were debating was this father-snapper relationship, because we were trying to make this one fixed width and not expand, and it wasn't working out for us, and it looked bad in this configuration right here when this guy snapped down certain configuration. And yeah, that's what we're going to do, I guess. But first, we're going to figure out what height we can work with by building out the actual UI for this one right here. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to work on. Back to our UI builder in this white box, we're going to build, first off, a little edit tab. Okay, and the way that I like to build them, I like to have a group because I like to have SVGs. And if I have a group, the minimum recommended size from human interface guidelines for a tab is 26. I think it's a bit small. I like to have 30. So let's go with 30, and this will be a group, and we'll pick our color. Okay. Now in the actual design guidelines, they do give us the color. It's 48BFF. I don't know why that closed. Let's go ahead. 48BBFF. And I think last time we had actually put it in our color palette. If you go to settings and general and scroll all the way down, you'll find your color palette, and we can actually put it in here. We don't have it. These inputs are a bit janky, but I think it was for, let's go actually check. It's 48BBFF. So 48BBFF, and that's the blue that we're going to use. So let's go ahead and pick that color from our palette. We can pick, since it's 30, we only need 15, so we can go 20 and it'll be perfectly round at a width and height of 30 by 30. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to grab an HTML, we're going to throw it in there, we're going to drag it out. I don't know why the editors all of a sudden started hiding my borders. That's why. So we're going to actually show them. Perfect. So here we have an HTML, and we can actually just stick some SVG in there. So we're going to go to Ionic Icons, Ionic Cons, and when it loads, okay, internet. I'm just going to go check it to see if I'm still streaming. Yes, I'm still streaming. That's good. Something's happening with my internet, but we'll get back to this. Okay. So the icon we want is an edit. So I'm going to write EDI, and here's my edit pen. We're going to grab the material SVG, and it's going to open it in Notepad, or you could just open it in your browser. You can't see this, but I just copied the exact code that they gave me. Click on the HTML and paste it in. And next we're going to add fill of, what color is it in the actual design? I think it's white. Here, close this tab up. Yeah, it seems to be white, so that's FF. FFF, and oh, sorry, don't forget the hashtag in front, and it'll appear white. Now, it looks a little bit big at 30, so we're going to give it a padding of 5 and see if we like that. And if we like that, we're going to give the same padding to all of our HTML elements. So we're going to call this pad 5, and we're going to create using that padding so we can instantly create those icons. All right, so now we have that, and we need a profile picture. what it looks like. If this is 30 by 30, this looks about triple. So I would say it's a little bit bigger than 60. So we're going to go with either 80, 75, or 80 and see what it looks like. So let's go back here. And we're going to use a group and not an image tag because I find that group tags actually work out better. We go 80 by 80, and the roundness has to be at least 40, but I can just give it 100 and it'll always work. Background style. We're going to give it a flat color, and we're going to leave it like that for now. Sorry, we're not going to. We're going to give it an image. I'm just thinking about my borders and box shadows. I don't think they had any. I know a lot of apps do put a border in, even if their background color is the same color as their borders, just to outline it, depending on whether or not they want to stack the same picture on something else. But in our case, we won't be doing that. We're just going to center it horizontally, and we're going to make sure that our margins make sense. So this one's 30 by 30, select first parent. And we're just going to make sure that it has either 15 by 15 or 20 by 20. So I think we're going to go 20 by 20. Right now it's 25, so it's going to be 250 to have the correct margins for this. And then we have to make sure that this is at least 20 off this element right here. And currently it is, select first parent, it is, it's like 30, 30, 20 would be an additional from where you are, 50. So we're going to go with 100 and leave it there. 100. Okay, and that's where it's going to start. That actually gives us, I think, too big of a, yeah, way too big. They actually align it top and bottom, so we're going to leave it where it was before. So let's go Control Z here, and let's upload a static image. I'm just going to get my stock dump and grab, what's a face, somebody's face. Do I have somebody's face? I have hers, but she's off-centered. It's not like it hardly matters. There you go, this guy right here. So now it's going to upload our image. This is static. When we're going to do it in real time, we're going to have users, and users are going to have a profile picture, or if you set up your data architecture like I do, you're going to have an image, like a file associated to each user, and you're going to pull that image from them. So right now we're just going to leave it like this, and here's our profile picture. Next, we have some text. Okay, so we have two types of text here, and they kindly gave us, it looks like, ooh, oxygen bold I don't have, oxygen regular I don't have. So we're just going to use Lato for all of this instead of importing custom fonts, because I don't want to go into that today. But we are going to use 40, 24, 18, and 16, but probably, yeah, okay, 40, 24, 18, and 16. And this is our color, 41 for F5A, which you see is an off blue. So let's go ahead and stick that in our color palette as well. It was what, 41 for F5, 6, I think. Is that correct? 5A. My apologies. All right, so we have an off blue color that apparently they're using here. So let's go ahead and put that in. Let's center this horizontally. The width doesn't matter since it'll be centered. We're going to remove the style. We're going to put it here. We're going to make Lato 40 is heading 1. I don't think they're using heading 1 here. So they must be using, let's go check it out. It's much smaller. So I think it's 18. I think they're using 18 and 16, and this one's 18 in bold. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. 18. And it's somebody's name, so Jason Tam. I think that's how you write his name. I don't know why I have his name stuck in my head right now. And then right underneath it, we're going to make sure that this has a consistent width 28. Let's go with 30. And why not give it 200 horizontally? Because that's your 2/3. So let's copy this back down. I'm holding down Control to copy the element, and I have my snapping. My grid and borders snap to edges. You can also snap to grid. I don't do that. Not right now anyways. This is 16 and Lato as well, but it's definitely not the same color. Okay, it's definitely a different color. Let's go try to find out what color they used. Because that's a lie. This is not the same color. They either added in opacity or they definitely mixed in some white there. So let's go ahead. Let's mix in some white. So here, and we're just going to drag this up just a little bit until it starts to look useful. I'm trying to keep it on the same X value. Normally I would color match this, but yeah, that looks decent. Let's go ahead and type in picture. And if this is 18 and this is 16, is it enough of a difference? I don't think so. I think it's actually smaller. So I think that their actual typography guidelines are, I see, okay, so they're using bold for all the headings, and that's why it looks slightly different. But this is definitely not bold. This is bold. This is just smaller. So, and it looks like this may be the 16 and this may be, no, it's definitely the same size. Okay, but it's definitely a different color. So they did something like this. Okay, next we're gonna set up our sort of this. So a header and then some icons and then an age and then some values. So what you would do is something like this. Let's grab this. It's 200 and it's definitely not aligned right. What we have here is a 20 pixel margin. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate that. And 20 minus 20, 20 plus 20 minus 300, which is our full width, is going to be 260, I believe. Let's center that horizontally. And now we have our area for our heading. And since this one's 50 off, we want to maintain some margin. So we're going to go ahead and hold down Shift and press up until we have 50 off. It's 20, oops, it's 28. And 48 plus 2 is Y, 200. Unfortunately, 49, which doesn't make me super happy. We could actually remove, whatever. Okay, let's align this left. And let's type in whatever they have here, personal info. Okay, and this one is 18, but bold. And it wasn't 18, it's definitely 16. We'll leave that here. Since we don't need all that height, we're going to remove to 25. It should work. Perfect. Then we're going to click and drag this text down, and we're actually going to make sure that it has plus 30. Yes, and in plus 30, we can actually put an HTML element. This. We can make sure that they're centered and height on each other, and we can put in more. That's stupid that it didn't automatically. Okay, and what do we want? Age? I don't know, user. I think it's personally pretty silly to be putting icons in for all of these. I would just put text or an icon with no color. But here we're going to go style 5 pad again. We're going to add fill. And what I usually do for things like this that are going to be over and over again, I'll usually put it in a repeating group, and I'll let the repeating group expand, and I'll create menu items so that I can quickly add and remove fields. But since this is a fixed thing, I'm not going to be doing that. I need to pull this color. They used a whole bunch of colors. I'm not sure that I would do that here, but just because it's sort of dilute. If I go Control Tab here, you'll see. Actually, if I go Control Tab here, you'll see that it sort of dilutes the design in terms of the amount of colors that you have here. It really draws your eye. And here's the other version. It really draws your eye to here, which I don't think is the most important thing. I think the most important thing is this. And it just, I find it throws off the design, especially since you have like an app color and then a brand color. I just think that their color management is a little bit off. But what am I gonna do about that? So age, height, weight, throws, bats, and then some values. So let's go back here and say age. And this is where I would actually store this as heading 2. And what I would do usually when I start an app, I'll go into my style sheet. I have an app that's clean, that has no styles, and then I'll just create them as I go and use them. This one doesn't have to be bold, and it is 16. In this case, it's oxygen, so it won't look the exact same. And for some reason, my fill isn't working. Forgot the equal. My apologies. Okay, and now we have age. And then we're going to bring this in here, and then we're going to make sure that these can actually, work. Yeah, that's a mistake. Bring it in a bit more. Let's bring it out to the right, and then I'll find my margin. I'll align it to the left of the picture. I'll let this one actually touch the left here because actually this is not a big deal because it's not responsive. I think this is fixed width. It sure is. So this doesn't matter at all. And then age, we're going to write 29. And then we're going to go back to our, because this is the wrong color. They're using a much lighter version. And looking through their typography guidelines, I see that there is no lighter version. They all have the same color for everything. And the problem is that's definitely not what they're doing. So we're going to have to find our own. And I think I'm going to use 80. And that should be good. Maybe a little bit darker than 80 if they're using, but I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, so next we're going to grab all of this, we're going to put it in a group, and then we're just going to grab the group and drag it down the amount of times that we need. I'm going to give it actually a bottom margin before I do that, so that I can just easily create the ones that I need. So if that's 10, that's 8. This has to come down, but I think everything is going to go up eventually, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Put this here, that's 1. Let's see how many we have. 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. And then I would put in weight and heights and what else do we have? Left, throws, and bats. And then the values. And the way that I would set up the values is obviously in your data. Every pitcher or every user would have different values here. And in that case, these would be dynamic, and these would actually inherit. This would be a user, or in my case, a user's file, and this would be a user as well, and would derive it from parent groups user. And then I would be able to pull, instead of 29, I should be able to say parent groups users, whatever, age. Okay, so that's how I would set it up, but in our case, we're going to do it like they did, and we're just going to add the actual values: 5 foot 4 inches, 83 kilos, right and left. Let's do that. What was it? 280? What? 83 kilos. I don't even know what that is, because in Canada we use the American 5 foot 4 inches, 83 kilos. 5 foot 4 inches. We use the, I guess, the United Statesian sim, and then you could go and find your logos or your icons, or you could create them, or I don't know if you bought a custom set or whatever. You could just plug those in as SVGs, or alternatively, if they're rasters, you would put them in an image or a group, like we did here. Or alternatively, if they're if you have to plug in Ionic icons, or you could use these icons or whatever you want. But here it is. Okay, so now we can move on to the next thing, which is school. Okay, and I forgot to draw my lines here. They have they stop this here, and then they draw a shape to the end, and I think that's really useful for in terms of balance. Okay, so we're at 7 pixels. We'll hold shift and we'll click down, and yeah, that's good right there. And they're using a very clear. The reason I'm touching here is in case it's responsive. This will stay the same width, and this one will expand. So let's go fix width here, and this one will expand. Basically to fill the whole width that we have. Next, we want our height to be 1. We don't want it, and we're going to use this color, or maybe even lighter. No, yeah, maybe even lighter. Okay, now we have this, so we're going to grab this and the line, not the group. So I'm holding down shift, and I'm holding down control, and I'm just dragging down. Now we're going to check the height difference here, 26 pixels. I think 25 pixels is a really good height. And then we're going to do -1 here, or maybe just leave it here and do +1 here because it looks like it's actually more centered. Okay, so personal info, what do we have? School? Schule. And it looks like this is a header, this is a header, and this is a header, so all of this text will be the same. This is definitely not, I'm looking at this and it's definitely not the color that they say it is. So, you know, unfortunate for us that we're just going to follow their design guidelines instead of reinventing the wheel. I'm going to use the same text that I use here for consistency and the same margins. We had 25, we had 10 here. It should be 10. It's currently 8, so we're going to go -2, actually 247. And then this one -2 as well, 260 on your Y value. And here we have 25. So we have 10s between the headers and the actual text. So we're going to make sure that this is at 10. Okay, -1 again. Whoops. 507. And this is what a block of text, I think. No. Okay. So not English as the first language. This would be what? School, education, or school is not the right heading, and neither is education, but I'm not much of a sportster, so I don't know what I would put for previous, whatever. I'll just write education. Because they don't only include the education, they actually include school and then all the teams that they played for. So let's take a look here because it seems that this is actually smaller text than this right here, and it's definitely lighter. So we're going to go with this, and we're going to make it size 14. I think at size 14, Lato's height can be 22. And then we're going to grab this and drag it down again. And then this one's going to be the actual 16. And when I say drag it down, I'm holding control just to duplicate things. And this will be 80. Okay. School education. School is St. James College, I guess. Or whatever it said. I don't really care. Okay. And in this case, again, what I would do is insert dynamic data parent groups users and parent groups users school, but in our case, we're just going to go St. James College, so I should be able to just go ahead and do twice and get back. Okay, education, school, and what else? What else did they put in? School year, summer team, college commitment. Okay, in terms of margins, okay, they have. I should have really looked at that before doing this, but it looks like this margin and this margin are 25s, and then 10s between each or 15s between each, something like that. And we did not do that. So we're just going to take this opportunity to move this up. And we're going to check that out, 22. Okay. We'll leave it at 20. So +2, 233. And we're going to move this up, holding down Shift, pressing the up arrow. I can grab it until it's about centered. And then we're going to make sure that the distance from here to here is about the same. So -10, 462. And then clicking on this and holding down Shift and up and up. And then school has to be the same distance. Again, 25 from the bottom of this, so +5. $512. And then move this down here. And now we're going to grab these two, holding down Control, move them down until we're about convinced that we're at 10 pixels or 15 pixels. What are these? Sorry? 10 pixels. Okay, so we're going to stick with 10 pixels. This should be 11, so -1, 570. And we get a nice round number here. And we're going to repeat that for the amount of times that we need. For 1, 2, 3, 4. We need it 4 times. Okay, and this is why I wanted to do this before moving on with the rest of the design, because I know we did a lot of responsive stuff, but we got to make sure that it fits. So I just moved it out of the red group, and then I'm going to use the red group and bring it down and drag it up and stick it back in for the height that I need once I'm done with my design here. Pulling down, Shift, pressing it up would bring me to 10 pixels exactly, and I have to make sure that it's left aligned. So my left align right now is 20. I got 21. I'm going to change that, and I should be able to just snap it here. And we got 3, holding down Shift, Control down. What I should have actually done is group them together. to, and then make sure that it's aligned left here. Good stuff. Okay, and then I would grab this one and do the next section, and then I would fill in all the text. Let's hold down Control, bring it all down, and we're going to eyeball it first. And if we remember, it should be at about, what, 20? Is that what we said? 25. Yeah. Here's 21, so holding down Shift down and then -1, 759. Same thing here. And 770, I think, something like that. And this one is going to hold, I think, just a block of text. Is that what it was? Yeah, it's bio, and then a block of text. So we're going to grab our regular text and here. Now's a good time to talk about whether or not, Shift Control down, make sure our X values are all right. Now would be a good time to talk about styles, because right now all of these have their own styles. And I'm going to leave them blank because if you want to copy and paste this cross apps, baking in the styles like this and having them individual will allow you to do that with no errors, whereas using an actual style, like creating a style out of this, that's called body mine. Let's say body mine. Doing this will actually speed up your app a lot because you have a style sheet. Oops, mine. Will speed it up a lot because you have a style sheet loading the styles into each individual element rather than basically loading each style sheet for each element, which takes a lot longer. The flip side is if I go copy with workflows, which I'm eventually going to do on this red one, I'm going to go copy with workflows and paste it into a different app. I'm going to get a whole bunch of issues because it's not actually able to load the styles if they don't already exist, and using the same names for styles doesn't work currently in Bubble. All right, so let's go get some. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, let me know. Let's go see. I just want to go see my chat real quick, see if anybody's. Oh, I forgot to actually grab my. Can I get a link? No. Live now. Is anyone watching? I don't think so. Cool. Anyways, this is 27 minutes, really? Wow. Okay, I thought that would be much, much quicker. Anyways, we're going to grab some lorem text. And we're going to paste it in the bio, and then we're going to stick it back in there, and then we're going to make some things happen. Okay, let's go cut off if element isn't long enough. And basically, you're going to have a bunch of bios for everyone, and if you want to control your height, you're going to do this, and when somebody clicks on it, they can get a expanded version. But anyways, let's go take a look at what this looks like right now. Nothing? No way. Oh, it's still loading. Okay, this is what it looks like. So that's a pretty clean design. What would I do? I would stick this further to the right. I wouldn't align it right, but I would take the longest one and I would align that to the right and make everything else on the left. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I Control Shift Tab twice. No? Don't like that? No? Okay. Let's go here. Like I said, it's a pretty clean design. What I would do is this. And I would say, okay, you here, you here. And I would do one of two things to make sure that they stay aligned right. Either I would touch the right of this to here and make these fixed width. Okay, if these are fixed width, these ones are allowed to expand, and they'll all expand at the same rate. So I would either do that, which I should have done before starting to copy and paste them, because now I have to do it individually for every single one, or maybe more easily, I would go to responsive, and I would pick these, and I would say you're aligned right, and you're fixed width. Okay, so this doesn't align the text to the right, it aligns the actual text block to the right. And I would say fix width align right, and fix width align right, and fix width align right, which is just faster than doing it in the actual UI builder itself. Okay, so now we have like a little profile thing that looks about right. What would I do with the edit tab? That's a good question. Okay, for the edit tab, this is how I usually do it. I don't know how well this would work. I would grab everything that's actually on here. Or I would actually just, to make it easier, I would say select first parent. I'm going to give myself a handle here just so I can move this out easy. I would put this here, and I would say when I would group this into a group, I would give this group the parent group. I would call XX because it has a state, and I would say profile. And I just do XX so I can easily select it in here. And then I can just type X twice with my left hand while I'm clicking right. It's just a little trick that I use. And I would give it a state. And I would say is edit state type. We're going to go yes, no. If it has multiple states, I would say mode. And I would say text. But in this case, we just have edit, yes or no. So is edit. And I use is because just to let myself know that's going to be a Boolean. And I would say create. Then I would go to I. This is group user. So I would actually find here XX. And I would click on it. I would go I. And I would give it a default of no. False. Beauty. I click on here and I say when XX's profile is edit is no, this element is visible true. And then I would basically go appearance and I would say collapse. And I might animate the collapse operation. So now we have a group, and then what I would do is I would select first parent here to grab the XX, and I would drag it out here, and I would put a second group inside of it, and this would be my edit group. And this I might do in another live stream. I'll just show you what it does basically. And there is a toggle on Bubble. I don't want to discuss why I don't use it, but basically this is how I always do this. So right now I won't build any inputs, but I'll just leave this this color here. I'll say not visible on page load, collapse when hidden, and animate the collapse operation, which I find the combination when they're stacked like this is just, I guess, pretty nice. So I would put this back in here. Oh no, sorry. I would select first parent, and I would bring this up all the way. And then I would put this directly into the parent group right here. And I would make sure it's, what, 20 by 20? Right? Again. What did we end up getting? 17. There you go, 20 by 20. Let's grab it, let's bring it up, and let's make sure they're not touching. That's good. And then I would put okay, what I would do is I would select first parent and I would add a workflow right here. I would say start edit workflow. I would say element actions, set state of element XX profile to be is edit to be yes. So when I click on this bottom, on the bottom group, I guess you'll see what I mean when I add another group on top, but on the bottom group, I would set it to edit. And I would put another group that's transparent over top. And this group, I would say conditional when XX's profile is edit is yes, then this element is visible. True. I would make it not visible on page load. And then I would give it the opposite workflow. Element action set state element XX's custom state is edit to be no. So that'll turn it off. And I'll just show you what I mean, and I'll leave it white for now. But basically in my preview tab, it should start like this, which is its regular mode. And then when I click on it, it'll actually set it to edit, which should have, select this parent. And it went white, right? Yeah, it went white and then back to blue. The only problem is that they're not actually switching. So we're going to fix that right now. This one should say, it's because this one's visible on page load. When edit is no, this element is visible. And this one is, I forgot to show it. When the mode is edit is yes, then this element is visible, true. And you're going to see a nifty little collapse animation here when we go back to our, there you go. That's your edit. That's your regular. And then your inputs would basically just show up here. And I don't know, I just like this animation. And then your groups will move. Another one that I use is I'll actually put in the animation to slide this left out and slide the other one right in so that I can see the inputs. But I mean, it's just eye candy, and it is a little bit taxing on older systems or weaker internet connections. Okay, so let's go back to our editor and let's go ahead and grab this right here. Let's give it, are we rounding corners? Yeah, we were rounding at 10, I think. I don't know if we discussed this in the last video, but I'll just keep rounding them at 10. And then I'll give this a background color of none, and I'll give this, I'll leave this exactly the way it is. But anyways, now I have the height. So I'll basically move red down until green. It has a 20 pixel margin. Control Z, I just put it out of there for no reason. Let's see, 67. Let's see, 20. I think it was 20. And then I'll drag this all the way up. And I'll grab this. And I'll just throw it back in here. 27. Okay, what? Okay. Now I don't remember what my margins were, because they were definitely not 27. But we'll just leave it like that for now. Okay. Then we're going to center this horizontally again. And we've actually just built out the first feature of this design right here, which is our little thing here with our little edit button functioning. So next, we're going to just grab the same text. But like here again, this is the same font and the same font size as age, but it's a different color. This is actually the color that they say. This is the color that they say. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. Getting old. But this is what it looks like so far. Which looks pretty good. I mean, I'd be happy about this when you just load in the actual information on your users, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. Oh yeah, and the last thing is, which we forgot to do just for UX purposes. Obviously, this can't have any color, and it's not visible on page load. So we're going to reveal it in the elements tree until we can see it. There it is. I should be naming stuff for you guys, but I'm a little bit lazy. And we're going to go find an X from Ionic Icons. Let's go to this. I don't know why I don't just leave it open. Close. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab its SVG code. Hello? Are you going to open for me? No, it's just loading. I guess there's something wrong with my internet. Let's go ahead and grab that code. Let's paste it into here. Conditional when XX's mode is edit is yes. And then we're going to go HTML is that, but with a fill of hashtag FFF and like this. Okay, so now you'll actually be able to see it switch between yes and close. Yes and close. And I would actually probably change the color of this circle as well. But I'm not doing that now. Right now we're building out father, and then we're going to build out snapper, and then we're probably going to call it a day. Because this is a really long stream already. How long is it? Hard to say. 39 more minutes. Okay, that's it for now, because nobody's going to watch 40 minutes of live stream. So that's how you build a profile in 40 minutes. Basically, we just have to connect it now, and you would go into your data tab and you would build a data set. And actually, I've seen a lot of people tie in way too much stuff to user. I think that it's very difficult because you're going to be loading a lot of information every time you do a search for users, especially in messaging and parts of your app. If you're looking for a lot of users, and your bubble actually will load all that data even if it doesn't need it. And I think that it can get very taxing on your system in terms of the client's memory usage. So what I do is I go like user file, create, and I give the user file a unique ID like a user tied to it, which is the user. and I go create. And then I will basically, every time I load a user and I need their user file, I won't actually I'll look for the users and do a search for it, and then I'll load their user file. So that'll be the next video. And then we'll actually put in some dynamic data, I think, because otherwise, what's the point? Okay, so that's as far as we got today. And I think I'll work on this a little bit more tomorrow. Okay, everybody take care, and we'll catch you on the flip side.